Okay, guys, so if you jump on, just make sure that you mute yourself, okay? And then Amber will ask you some questions, all of this. So I love, can I just say, then I'm going to turn it over to Amber. I loved seeing what you guys were. I was like, ooh, like that's fun. And I'm not any of those. So I love that. So Amber, I'm going to mute myself. Girl, take it away.
All right. Talking tonight about strengths and how they apply to your business. So I have mapped out, and I'll show you this real quick if I can get it in focus. I have mapped out where all of our strengths are from everybody that posted in that post. You see the hash marks. And we had the most intersection at Intellection. So that's one we're going to talk about today. And we're also going to talk about harmony, empathy. We might go between the two of those because they overlap a little in how they come across. So what we're going to talk about is just a broad range, how that strength can show up and how using that strength in your business, how you can leverage it and use that first, lean on it. And we're also going to talk about the blind spots of those strengths. So every strength is like a coin. It's got two sides. You've got the strength on one side that is, the natural tendency, the thing you do automatically. And then you've got the blind spot that's behind you that you actually aren't even aware of. And sometimes that's how you come across to other people. And sometimes that's just things that you miss because they're not even in your line of vision. So we're going to talk a little bit about those two aspects. I am so happy to see that our strengths are all distributed all the way across all four categories. And I will touch briefly on that category concept at the end because they are grouped by category. And we'll touch briefly on what that means for your business. So let's jump right into Intellection. And I am using my Strength Finders book because I don't have them memorized. Because I don't. So Intellection, when you get your report, your definition is going to be unique to you. So I'm going to be giving an overview definition, and it is not necessarily specific to you because your definition that you got from your report has a combination of all of your top 5 strengths wrapped into it. So as I'm reading this definition, and it applies to, 5 of us have intellection as one of our top 5 strengths. So we're talking about that one first. Intellection is a thinker. You like to think. You like mental activity, and you like that process. You could be focusing that in a variety of directions. You could be researching, you could be coming up with projects to learn more about, or you could be trying to figure out a person's reaction, trying to get that mental activity where you're trying to resolve an issue, sorting it out later. Naturally, you are introspective. You think before you react. You're processing that event when it happens before you speak. So you're not usually the first one to speak up when something happens, unless it was like an emergency. You know better. But if it's something that, like somebody's asking a question in a class, you're not necessarily the first one to put your hand up with an answer. You're giving it a little bit of thought, figuring out what your answer is. The first thing that comes to your mind is, how do I think about that? What do I think about that? Doesn't pop in your mind right away the answer of what you think about it. So intellection is a process that you're going through when you're approaching things. How this shows up as a strength for your business is that it is really easy for you to think through various problems that come up, various challenges. When there's a change, when there's a new something that comes up, it's very easy for you to think through the implications of that and what that could mean. With that, it can be very easy for you to get carried away going down that thinking train way far beyond practicality. So you can go way far down the rabbit hole, far beyond anything you can execute, into what this can mean 20, 30, 40 years from now. And you've planned out, your grandchildren's college and what does that mean? And intellection can get very much caught up in that. And the blind spot is because you realize that thinking that far ahead is not helpful. You know that. But the blind spot is you don't know when to stop. So you're thinking through the challenge and you're thinking through the mental puzzle, but you don't know when to stop that and move into action. So that's the blind spot, that you don't know where that mark is, because it's just natural to just keep going and keep following that all along. So intellection has that blind spot associated with it. It's very much a challenge for you with intellection. You need to learn how to put a gate on yourself so that you do stop that rabbit trail and start another path, so that you break that cycle of constantly going down that what if, well then we'll do this, well then we'll do this, playing that mental chess game in your head forever, without actually moving any pieces in real life. So my challenge for you, I'm going to issue a challenge. Surprise. My challenge for you, if you have intellection, is I want you to journal for 1 page. I'm giving you a limit, 1 page, and you're going to write down, what areas of my life do I overthink? And I want you to just do like categories. So break them into areas. So is it business? Is it family? Is it food? Is it, I break it down into a few categories. It could be everything. Yes. Pick a few. And then I want you to write what you're going to do to stop yourself from going too far in that overthinking. I'll only spend 10 minutes planning the grocery list. I want you to come up with some definable parameters for yourself that you can operate within. Be realistic. It's not going to be that you're going from long, rambling rabbit trails down to 30-second decisions. I want you to give yourself some reasonable parameters. When I realize I am doing this, I will maybe have a physical cue. I will get up from what I'm doing and do something else. Physically do something else. Sometimes changing your environment can dramatically change what you're thinking about. Maybe that's a quick walk outside. Maybe that's a shower real quick, get your brain in another headspace. But write down just 1 page again, intellection, just 1 page, front side of 1 page, only one side of 1 page. So let's not get carried away with that. You're going to write down what that limit is going to be for you. What are you going to set up as your physical trigger? Now, I know you're not going to be able to immediately make this change in every category of your life. So you're going to pick 3 from the ones that you write down at the top of the page, 3 categories to give yourself a cue or a time limit of what you will, when you realize you've gone past that, you will move on to something else. If you've got intellection, raise your hand if that makes sense. Okay, good. Yay.
I'd love to hear, for you, because you guys are like me. Where do you see it most in your life?
Definitely business.
Okay.
I mean, I can go down many rabbit holes. Social media, classes, physical one-on-ones. I mean, there's just so many different areas in business, and then organization of my business, and then get out of management mode with my people. I mean, it's just, And I do a lot of thinking because my number one is a learner, and then I've got this attached to it.
Mm-hmm. You're
the same. Her
category,
business.
Brenda.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
So a quick tip for you, Brenda. I want you to lean on your responsibility that you also have, and responsibility is going to help you take action. Take as you're looking at your business and all of those different things that you could be doing. Say which one action on now.
Yeah, but the one that scares me more than anything else is the going live. I mean, I'm ready to go live, but I'm scared to go live. And I think it was you, Connie, that mentioned get in one of your Facebook pages or groups that you feel comfortable with and do a live there, you know. And so I've created a new one, and there's nobody in it but my daughter, but I'm still scared to death to go live. So
Brenda, just tell me when you want to go live, and I'll do it with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe
we're gonna put an action to this, because yeah, you tell me, because you're gonna want to do that. So, let's figure out a time, and we'll just set it up, and we'll go live. Or you can go live on mine.
What?
They don't bite. I promise, they don't bite.
No.
For your direct assignment now that you've been given, Brenda, you've also got empathy and developer, and those are relationship building. And I want you to think about going live as your way to build that relationship online. And
I do a lot of relation building on Messenger, but I don't do, but I'm targeting one-on-one people. So I mean, as far as going live, I realize, but I mean, I don't have a big community right now in my my Facebook page. I've got like 300 people, but they're not all doTERRA people. And because I was doing leadership coaching prior to doTERRA, and so those people are from that arena. They're not. And then I changed to oils, and I didn't lose anybody, but I'm not sure anybody's listening either. So
you start going live, you'll start showing up in their feed, and they'll start deciding if they want to listen or not.
True.
Are you doing voice messages in Messenger?
No.
Okay, start there. We're just gonna do
That's an easy one.
That is an easy one. I mean, because literally you can just like say, "Hey, girl, how you doing?" Like instead of like typing it out. I love voice messages because I can do it super quick, and they get to hear my voice, and it just builds that relationship even quicker and deeper.
Well, I think so too, and the reason being is you cannot identify a tone in a text or a messenger. You just can't, and you have to be really careful, because I like to joke around, and if you're not careful, then what happens is they take that wrong. So and I'm really good about making sure I'll put laugh out loud or something, but that's a good point. I'll have to try that.
Yeah, and even if nothing else, just do a 2-minute video and then just upload it. Like do it on your phone and upload it to Facebook.
We actually did oil camp training, and I just have to say this, and you'll laugh at it, but I started over 22 times before I got my lavender one like I wanted it. So, because I don't know how to edit. So, I mean, if I messed up 1.5 minutes in, I'd start all over. And I mean, 22 times before I got it where I wanted it.
Girl, we're doing a live next week. Come on.
Okay.
Next week.
Okay.
And done is better than perfect.
I know. Nope. I've heard that.
Perfect.
So. Yeah, but I'm also a perfectionist, and I used to think that was a good thing, but I don't think that's a good thing. I think that it lends to a lot of procrastination.
Yeah. Procrastination is the blind spot of perfectionism.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what it is. But knowing that gets you farther in moving through it.
True.
Okay, so we talked about intellection, and so let's talk about applying it in an intentional way to our business. So I worked you through what it usually looks like and what its blind spot can be. Now let's use it intentionally in our business. So we are going to use intellection very intentionally on one specific thing. We're going to give ourselves a parameter, usually a time limit, so that we don't go overboard. And you're going to have a brainstorm session around just one aspect of your business. So whatever that aspect is that's most relevant for you, do a brainstorm around that aspect, because your brain is ready to start solving riddles and problems for you. It's just geared that way. And if there's something that's hanging you up, if you intentionally dedicate a short amount of time, let's say no more than half an hour, let's keep it contained, your brain is ready to help you unravel those riddles that are your hangups, or at least get you down to a question that we can help you work through. So your brain is ready to help you drill down to what that real hiccup is, so that you can move through it. Okay, so that is the 2 homeworks then for intellection. Whew, you intellection people are getting double duty. Next, we're going to talk about, I think, empathy. Empathy is winning for our list of things that are common with our group. Empathy is so great in our business because with network marketing, being able to feel like you are being able to be empathetic to the customer is huge for getting your message across and helping them to understand the benefits and the that you actually care about their good. Empathy is great for one-on-one situations, really good at that. But looking at empathy, you can sense the emotions of those around you. You can feel what they're feeling as though those feelings are your own. You're intuitively able to see the world through their eyes and share their perspective, even if you don't agree with that perspective. You are... you're able to understand without condoning choices that other people make. So you might not agree with their choices, but you're able to understand them from their perspective, why they chose what they did. You're able to find the right words to fit a situation when somebody's talking to you. Frequently, this can show up as a person actually seeks you out for, like, so that they can, it feels like dumping on you, right? They just like to share it with you because they know that you can empathize with them, and that frequently shows up that way. So, it looks like on this call we've got quite a bit of empathy. So how do you feel like this shows up for you personally? And Lisa, I don't know if you're able to unmute yourself or not, but feel free to jump in.
She may be at work.
Okay.
I don't know. They say you can put it in the chat. I don't know.
Brenda, again for you, how does empathy show up?
Well, from a very young age, I think I had this tattooed across the forehead that says, "Talk to me, I will listen to you." I've been told that I'm very wise, that I know exactly what to say, you know, and in fact, some of the people on my team, they'll say, "Well, Brenda, how would you say this? Because you're always good at, you know, wording things." I do almost to a fault feel people's pain. And that translates into, if you tell me a sad enough story, I'm going to send you probably free stuff, you know, from doTERRA, because I want to help you. I did limit that today. I had a one-on-one call today, and she's not my customer type. And the reason I say that is because she really doesn't have the funds to invest in her health. I think she does. She just makes different priorities. And I stopped. I did not offer to send her a bunch of free stuff. And I have done that for 4.5 years now. And I did not do that today. And I was really kind of proud of myself in one way, but in another way, I felt bad because I know she needs lifelong vitality, and
That's cool.
yeah, it's just, I want to help people. I mean, that's why I'm in this business, is to help people. And it is true too that people will take up a lot of your time, because I don't know how to draw the line. I'm not really very good at saying, okay, gotta go, because they're sharing. So, I mean, it takes up a lot of time.
I love what Amber and I were on Kyle Cease's call Sunday night. And one of the things he spoke that was so powerful for me, and it'll help you a lot. He's like, those who give a ton are not good receivers. So the thing that you need to do is say no once in a while, because then it opens up that space for you to be able to receive, what God has for you. And I'm like you, like sometimes it's hard to say no, and I'm like, but I know it would help them. But it feels so good. Like I did the same thing today. Somebody was like, I need help with da 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 da, and I'm like, no, and I was like, okay, like I can say no, and it's okay. Like I didn't fall apart, and they didn't fall apart. Like, so yeah, say no. His suggestion was say no 5 times a day.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
It is a lot. I'm up to 1.
Me too. My one and only.
Yeah.
Well, that can be a goal, 5 no's. And they don't have to be big no's. It doesn't have to be no, and I'll never speak to you again. It doesn't have to be a hard, closed door no. It can be a no, I can't meet then. How about this time? You can say no and offer a different option. And that still is a no, because you're protecting your self, your world, from being infringed on, and just saying yes, 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 yes. When you say yes to too many things, and in empathy, it's because you're seeing the other person's perspective, and you see that they need what you've got right then, or for free, or whatever it is. When you say yes to too many of that, you're giving away too much of yourself. You start losing bits of yourself. And then it does get very hard to put that line in there of where you stop, you start.
Can I say something? What's coming up for me is that with, sharing the oils and things, like if I'm empathetic and share the oils, then sometimes I get taken advantage of. So saying no, I feel what we're just talking about now is going to be not the better good for growing my business, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's gonna leave that relationship better for you going forward. You're not gonna feel that you've already run over me so many times, and here you are again. They're not that same tug, but they will feel that you're slightly off with the relationship. So you want to make sure that you're saying yes too many times can actually damage that, which is counterintuitive, right? Because we want to say yes because we want to give them what they are asking for, because that seems like what they need. And frequently that is not what they need. What they need is for us to be strong and listen and maybe offer a solution, but a solution that also respects both boundaries.
And also what's coming up for me when I'm empathetic is that I've offered samples and I've met with them, and then they decide that they still need to think about it. And this is going to sound a little, I don't know, but I'm just sharing it authentically. They're at the beautiful furniture shop and buying the most exquisite bedroom suite the next weekend, and I'm just like, but like there's a mismatch for me. and I go into judgment, and my empathetic doesn't kick in. So yeah, that's what's come up for me last weekend.
Lisa, we're all shaking our head with you because we've all had that happen. Like where you and they say, oh, well, let me go think about it. I've got to talk to my husband, or I've got to, and then it's, you see them on Facebook and they have bought like, a new car, or like you said, furniture, or they're toting something around, and you're like oils were cheaper, people. Oils were cheaper. So, and I think that's a fear in us that our business will suffer if we don't say yes to everything. And I will tell you that just stepping out, because I've had people who, like, even in like Teresa's group, where I've like, okay, I'll do a free 15-minute call, and people no-showed and people didn't show up and all this stuff. And when I stopped doing that, like, I actually got people who wanted my help. Versus like, can you write a Facebook ad in 15 minutes? No, I can't write a Facebook ad in 15 minutes. Like, I'm not going to give that to you for free. But it was where they found value in what I had to offer. So I know it's scary, like, girl, been there, where you're like, okay, but I need to like, help them and make my business grow. It actually does the opposite. Like, when you start to say no, your ideal people will actually come to you.
Yeah. And I've got evidence of that as well. So it's just those odd ones that really need what we have, and I just don't understand. I just don't understand. So okay, thanks.
Yeah, been there, done that. We've all got the prize to scarves to show it.
Got the T-shirt. So we've already naturally talked about the downsides of empathy, the blind spot. So the biggest blind spot, because we realize that we over sympathize with their feelings. We take on too much of their situation. We realize, so that's not really a blind spot, because we can see that, right? We feel that. We carry that energy longer, which, by the way, oregano and melaleuca will help clear that. So use your oils. But the blind spot is that the keeping that too open actually damages it in the future. I've got we'll call her a needy friend, who I let take hours and hours and hours and hours of my time. And in order to solve that, I had to completely cut it off. To the point that she was showing up unannounced at my house, all that. Boundaries were very broken. And the relationship is not what it could have been if I had, maintained a boundary with her, like any boundary really, with her. We would have been in a lot better place. Now, it will probably get better over time. We'll probably heal that over time. But over empathizing or letting that get ourselves carried away can actually cause a complete break. And in a business sense, that can cost you customers. And thus, that can cost you business. And then word of mouth, then later, even though you're this empathetic person, this person has this negative perspective on the whole situation because it changed suddenly, right? It wasn't this way all along. It's then you suddenly put a boundary on them, and they can get a bad taste in their mouth about that. So when you are putting boundaries in place with your customers, I need you to do it both decisively and gradually. Does that make sense? I need you to decide, here's where the boundary is going to be, and I'm going to move it until I have where I'm comfortable. So you're going to stop taking calls at all hours from your team and answering them. You're only going to answer them up to a certain time of the night. That's where you're going to start. And then you're going to work back till specific office hours when you answer those messages that come in. What am I going to do for such and such? What am I going to do for such and such? Meanwhile, you're going to start getting the message across to your team where they can also find those answers, what other sources they can be looking at that's not just you. Because empathy wants to give and 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 give. And you're spending all your time looking up those answers for that particular thing that they're dealing with that you aren't actually dealing with. And you're not maybe the expert in how to treat their fish for whatever's going on. You know, that's not your thing. So you have to go find the expert, see what they find, and then pass that information along. That's a lot of time wasted that your person could have just gone to the expert. So I want you to start compiling your list of experts or resources and have that available for your team to start searching there if it's outside of the hours that you are answering. So that's my challenge for empathy with boundaries. You're going to start with something like responding to questions and have a resource for them to search for themselves, start learning how to find those answers themselves. This would be a great topic to do a Facebook Live on. And I would go live and say, hey, I've done a huge disservice by answering all of your questions all the time, and I am so sorry. So there you've taken the burden off of them. You're sorry. That's nobody says, what? You're wrong. You're not sorry. Nobody says that. So they're already buying into what you're saying. So I'm so sorry that I have done that. I am going to be compiling a list of resources so you can all find what you're looking for, even if I'm not available. And on that live, you're not going to say the times that you're answering. You're just going to put it out there that you're putting these resources together and let them know where it is. You know, it's at that pinned post, or check this blog post, or I'm sending it in your email, or however you're going to deliver that by messenger. Here's the list of links, or here's a Google Doc and I'll update it as we go with the links and give them all access to that. However that looks for you. And also don't overthink that. So don't let intellection take over and overthink that. Pick one. Try it on for your team. If it doesn't work, you can always switch the mode of that delivery system in the future, or offer another one simultaneously along with it. But you're going to buy back your time. And your time gets so easily spent spinning your wheels in areas that are actually moving you backwards. Whew, that was unexpected. So be careful, empathy, that you're not actually spinning yourself backwards, because it can do that. It can be damaging relationships where you think it's actually improving them. And that is the blind spot that goes with empathy. Like we said, though, the positive with empathy is that you're so easily to quickly drill into what their pain point is when you're talking with them. So one-on-one empathy is fabulous. Empathy does great in even an online video back and forth one-on-one. Messenger, you're probably okay at, but you're better at reading the full body language and the facial expressions. Just pairing it all together feels so much better. Phone might even be better just with the voice in inflection, or those voice messages back and forth. Empathy, I want you to really find that fit for you and go after those relationships. So when you're setting up your appointments or your business discussions, find that medium that's really fitting you so that you're not feeling uncomfortable and stretched too far, so that you're really able to step into that. Thoughts?
Well, I have to say that I talked to my upline, I guess it was May or June this year, and I just told her I am totally wiped out. I'm totally burnt out. And part of it was because I do have a builder that will monopolize. And so she suggested that I set office hours. And so I did. I set office hours, and occasionally I will get somebody that says, hey, Brenda, I know it's past whatever time. Let me just ask you a quick question. And, you know, I've tried to really be hard. I mean, I'm an empty nester. I love this business. I can do it from the time I get up until the time I go to bed. You know, I don't have an issue with that at all. But what I was finding out very quickly, well, I say quickly, it took me, I've been in doTERRA for
Brenda, you're frozen. Uh-oh. Well, crud.
You were on a roll, Brenda. Hopefully you can jump back in. It trailed off with you've been in doTERRA for, I think you were saying four years, maybe. It's absolutely a process to come to realizing where we need to put those boundaries in. It's not something that happens. You don't jump into this business and know all of the areas that you need to set up limits because you haven't experienced it before. Most of us don't come from a background growing up of network marketing to see how it looked in our house and how we're going to enact it. We don't have those plans. Most of us grew up with parents that had, regular 9-to-5 or traditional jobs in some way. They went and they worked for somebody and then they came back. Most of them were not working in the home, having to set those boundaries of where time stopped and time started again. Brenda's back. Yay.
Well, and I think too, when you first get a builder and somebody starts, like you are having to spend more time with them. And so it does kind of set that expectation. You're going to be available whenever. And so it creates a little bit of creation there.
And we're also so excited when we get a builder. We want to give them that.
Yeah.
We want to give them every opportunity to succeed, and we want to give them all the answers so that they don't have any hang-ups, right? We want to try and set them up for success. Sometimes oversharing answers not only overwhelms, but it can actually and cause future dependency, but it actually takes away their will to find answers themselves. And that is a very tricky balance to understand as a leader, that spoon feeding for too long creates a perpetual baby. And you don't want your builder to always be a baby.
Or even customers. I mean, we've all had customers where you've given and given and given, and it's like, okay. And some of us blow it. So yeah.
I've got one gal that doesn't even remember to look at the side of the bottle if it's food safe or not. She has to message me about it, which is my fault. I take responsibility for that. I have taught her that that's the way to do it. And that's taught me not to do that again. No more of that. Let's see. Did you have more to say, Brenda?
I don't even know.
Okay. Well, we'll.
Can you hear me?
It's cutting in and out.
Okay.
Well, we'll. If you can throw it in the chat if you need to. You were. It broke off with. You've been in doTERRA 4 years, and that's about where you trailed off.
Okay, just I don't even remember. Maybe I need some rosemary. I don't remember what I was saying, but
you were talking about your builder and how, like, you told your upline, like, you're just done. Like, you've been doing this for 4 years and you were burned out.
Yeah, well, basically my cup was totally empty and dry and had a hole in the bottom of it, and I was not being filled. And so I had to step back, not step back by not doing the business, but I had to create some parameters.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And empathy is, I think, one of the first strengths that experiences that overwhelm, burnout, there's no more of me left feeling. And the correct way to go through that is what you did. You that's where I am. That's the truth of where I'm at. and then you found a way through it.
Yeah.
You know, setting up some parameters that worked for you going forward. And in a lot of ways saying, okay, it's not going to look like that anymore. What is it going to look like? And that's a transition that can move you from that exhausted, too much giving stage to, okay, this is workable. Okay, this is maintainable. And sometimes we need to find that balance is.
Well, I had also done 2 back-to-back Diamond Club, and you know, they asked me if I was going to do it this time. Now I did make gold last time that I did Diamond Club, which was amazing, but it was just too much, and I needed a break. So I didn't do fall this year, and you know, I think it was a great thing to do, but I think with empathy also, you feel guilty when you set those parameters, because you feel like you're not doing what your God gift is, you know, because I consider this also a talent to be able to empathize with people, know where they're at, and also on a different level, not business, you know, but to relate to them as one of God's children and let my light shine. And so, you know, part of me felt guilty about that too.
Yeah, it's an easy tailspin to get caught up in that giving guilt cycle that keeps you giving guilt, and keeps you going down that rabbit trail, another rabbit trail. But the how do I want to say this? The way to be using empathy for God's glory is not to become a desert ourselves. So if we're becoming so depleted that we're just shriveled up, giving out the last strands of what we've got left, that's not giving God glory. That's looking like, oh, that life looks miserable. Why would I want that? That's not a testimony to his greatness and his power. And it's not actually seeming like a gift to that person that sees you in that moment either. It's, oh, that's a terrible duty that they have to give their last ounce of oomph and the last waking minute they have to that whole thing. It's not coming across as the gift that it is in your life. So you need to make sure that you are doing those things to nourish and replenish yourself, and not sprinting all the time. You can't do back-to-back-to-back sprints and still have, you know, a well to give from. Also important with empathy that your strength does come from inside, but it's coming through you. You know, it's God's strength coming through you. So you are able to give beyond your physical limits because God is working through you. But make sure that you're clearly following his leading on that. Because if you're giving where he didn't direct you, it will deplete you so fast and you will be empty. So if you are talking to that person that God did lead you to, yeah, you could talk till 3 a.m. and not be tired because it's God's energy that's helping you have that conversation. But if it's somebody that you are just feeling compassion for, but not asking, God, did you want me to continue this conversation beyond my hours, beyond what I had set my limit at? You're not checking in with God on that. You're going to run into a problem. and that energy is just not going to be there.
Well, I think, you know, I agree to a certain extent on that, because, you know, you have to go where he leads you. But I mean, we are a physical body too. And so, you know, part of the reason I did doTERRA was because of my fibro and my type 1 diabetes and, you know, just a really bad immune system. And I just had to learn what my parameters were too. And, you know, totally agree with getting fulfilled, because if you're not in relationship with God, you will burn out. But I don't want to think that I burned out because I was not in a relationship, a healthy relationship with God at all, because I am. But I think, as a physical body, you have to learn to take care of that too. I mean, you have to, body, mind, and spirit, you've got to be able to do that. And empathy will allow you to go past, I don't agree with some people who are very, very structured in how they do it, and they're just kind of cold and they cut off people, because I'm not that. That would never come out of my mouth, and I would apologize if it did, but I have learned that I do have to set boundaries. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And knowing where our physical boundaries are for ourselves is a healthy thing to model for our team, for our customers, so that they can see that it's okay to have those boundaries for themselves as well. Because so often in our culture, women are taught, mostly just by just the images around, it's probably not said directly, intentionally, but that you need to be everything all the time. You need to be everything for everybody all the time. So you're showing up 100% at work, you're 100% for your family, you're volunteering all of the time, you've got your top 5 things that you have as your hobbies, you're also keeping a perfect house, you're gourmet cook, you're keeping these things, your social media is on point, and you've got your model pics that you do it with your own camera, you've got everything all lined up, and there's a lot of subconscious expectation that we bring to ourselves. And empathy feels like everybody has those personal expectations of us, when it can be far more true that it's just society as a whole that's painted a rosy picture of every aspect of life. Not necessarily a personal judgment that is being directly passed on us by our peers and our loved ones. Empathy is really, really quick to take a small comment like, oh, you brought a veggie tray instead of a pie to the potluck. Empathy really quickly takes that comment and goes, I'm a terrible person. I should have brought 2 pies. I know how to make that casserole. Why didn't I? I knew better. I should have. Where's that good napkin? Empathy is really quick to internalize that comment when somebody's really just saying, oh, good, vegetables. That's maybe all they're saying. We take it way farther in our internal dialogue. So empathy can actually cause us to break relationship with ourselves in that aspect, because we spin things out of control when we don't need to. So boundaries for our interactions with other people, and also boundaries in our thought life with how we're handling those comments, how we're letting those things get processed, because that's a lot of mental space and time that gets taken up with all of that nothing, really, because it's nothing. We're not actually going to go make another casserole. We're not going to magically produce a pie to put on the table to make everybody feel better. We need to have some triggers in our mind that say, oh, that's a thought I don't like. I don't need to think that. Here's something else I'll think instead. So when something like that comes up, first thing is to recognize it. So I need you to take a breath in the moment before your mind cycles out of control. And when you feel your face making a that sort of that fake smile in response to what was just said, while your brain starts running down the list of what they could have really meant, I need you to recognize that disconnect that's happening between your expression and your mental chatter, and say, the chatter is not what they meant. Whatever direction your mind just took it in, I need you to put a roadblock in there and say, that is not what they meant. It's so an easy roadblock to put in is to say, they have my best interest in mind. And if they have my best interest in mind, is this chatter really what they would have meant? No. They're not really comparing your vegetables to a pie. So think to yourself, they have my best interests in mind. That comment came from, the intention of my best interest in mind. They're not out to harm me. And that roadblock specifically will help get you back some mental space to clear up some of that chatter. And that chatter that happens can overwhelm even faster than a physical person sitting next to you nagging you. Because that chatter goes on sometimes all night. It's ridiculous. And that's a hard one to change, but a habit that needs to start so that you can start breaking that thought pattern.
Thank goodness for Serenity gel caps.
Yes. Yeah. And if it's too much, Serenity and Copaiba together. Give it a double. Okay. That was a lot of action steps for empathy. Wanted to talk real briefly, because you've gotten a taste of what I talk about in an individual coaching session, but wanted to touch real quickly on what else I cover. So I do, for strength specifically, a 3-session series, so a set of 3. And the first one, we talk about your top 5 strengths and how they're working together for you in your personal life and in your business life, and how they're showing up. And we talk about that strength side and how you can lean into it, and also the blind spot side. And I give you not nearly as much homework as I've gone into tonight, because this was business as well. But a couple action steps and an oil recommendation to use to highlight some of that combination together. In the second one, I drill into your role as a leader in your business. And that's no matter what rank or level you're at, you are a leader if you've decided this is your business. And if you have customers, you are a leader for them. If you have kids, you're a leader for them. There are aspects of your life where you show up as a leader, and knowing how your 5 strengths work together to help support you in that role is huge for helping you show up better and do more of what you're naturally gifted at, to frame those activities that you have to do in light of your strengths, so that you're not dreading those things, but you can approach them with some confidence and move through them that way. And the third one, I look at either your team or family specifically. So if your spouse has taken the Strength Finders, I look at them with you together to see how you can use those in partnership together. And if they want to be on the call with you too, that's great. Or if you've got some team leaders that have also done Strength Finders, I look at that combination of how that can work together as a team unit. So with a quick look at the spread that we've got across all 4 categories. So we've got executing, influencing, relationship building, and strategic thinking. We've got a pretty good distribution across all 4 categories, but we look at that and what that looks like as your team or your relationship is moving forward, and how you can better pair together with those strengths to really move forward in your towards your future and what your future plans are. Yes. Questions?
Was this helpful?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Over on my business page, I am highlighting some of the general aspects. We got a little more in depth in here, but I'm highlighting some of the general aspects of strengths and blind sides that come along with, so you can follow along over there. But so key to be able to understand this about yourself and to see how your 5 are working together as you're moving forward with your plans and in your business. It can completely shift your energy and where you're spending your time and your effort, and completely change how you're looking at other people's responses to things, with the understanding that not everybody has the same strengths. Not everybody is looking through the same set of glasses at that single signpost. So, Connie, did you have any comments from when we chatted before?
Yeah, she's a mean coach. No,
Yeah.
just kidding. It's been really helpful to be able to, she does give you homework in one-on-one coaching, but to be able to kind of look at those strengths, and I have like a lot of aha moments of, oh, okay, that's why I have that strength. That's why, and not to look at it as like a deficit or like a, I don't know. I think sometimes I was looking at it like, oh, I'm just different. Like, because my biggest one is futuristic, and then it's strategic right up there with it. And I'm like, I just never have at times understood like why I could see things 4 or 5 steps ahead when everybody else was behind. So it's just helpful to be able to see that stuff. So, and I wish I would have had it as a beginning builder, and would have had my team go through it and been like, okay, let me understand your strengths. I think I would have been way less frustrated. Like seriously, because I'm thinking, here's my strength. Like, y'all need to run with this. Like, go. And, I've got one that's like, I have several, but, like I can now kind of look back and be like, oh, okay. Didn't handle that really well. So, but it's helpful to be able to see that. So, and I think, it takes 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. So a session. So yeah, I would say like, even just if you wanted to do it as a team call and just, be able to say, what are the strengths, and do a call like this. Cause I think that's powerful to look at your team's strengths and say, what are they good at?
Mm-hmm.
Because
my personal strength combination is ideal for helping to translate that between what the book is saying and how it actually relates to your life. That's how my gifting is showing up. That's really being able to explain that in words besides just what's written in the book. Because absolutely, go get the book. If it makes sense, run with that. I'm not beyond that. I'm not saying Gallup missed a chance when they did not hire me, because that's not it at all. I'm ideally gifted at translating what they've already said, and specifically in how it relates to us as women in the network marketing genre. It's not written geared to that aspect. It's written more for a business application where you've got a traditional, it's an employee relationship. And network marketing is very different with a leader and a team. It's not a boss and an employee. It's a completely different set of expectations and roles and how they work together. So being able to see how they fit together in that way is really huge for your team.
Yep, cool. So we'll put the link to your page in the main group so that those who jump on the thing can check it out, or they can get with you.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Happy to do this call. So good to look at our strengths together.
Absolutely.
Okay, Brenda, tell me when we're doing our live.
I have to think about it. I don't know. I'm going to St. Louis tomorrow because I'm getting ready to go to convention. My car is not the best in the world, or my husband doesn't think so. I think it's great, but so he's going to take me on his day off, and then so I'll be there for a few days before I leave out for convention. So maybe we'll do something while I'm there.
So y'all will have like a couple of assignments next week. We're going to do some really fun stuff to get engagement and excitement while y'all are at convention. So, like, the day that possibly I might say go live.
Well, good luck. Good luck with that, because I don't check Facebook very much at all when I'm there. So
Well, you'll get a message every morning. And then, I mean, you can choose to do it or not. It really doesn't. But like, if that day you're like, okay, I don't know, I may have a panic attack, just message me and say, okay, I need to do a live like now. And I'm like, okay, just close on. But yeah.
all right. Well, my daughter will be there with me, so she can encourage me, even though she doesn't do them either. So maybe I can be an encouragement to her. Who knows?
Are you flying? Or are you driving?
Oh, we're flying. We're from Missouri, so
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, y'all be safe, and then we'll just have some fun.
All right. Well, hopefully I'll see you, Amber, there. Didn't you say you were going to be there?
I'll be on the live stream.
Oh, live stream. Okay.
Yeah. I'll wave to the cameras.
All right.
Now y'all wave at us. Be like, here we go.
Okay, we'll do that.
So, okay, you guys, have an amazing, amazing night. It'll probably be, because it's 8 o'clock my time, it'll probably be tomorrow before. Brenda's dogs love the attention. It'll be tomorrow morning before the replay gets up into the group, because it'll take Zoom a little bit for an hour to upload it. So, okay, you guys, have a great night. Lisa, have fun at work. Bye, you guys.
Bye, everyone.